Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Russian President Vladimir Putin virtually joined program on handing over uranium for Rupur nuclear power plant. Rupur nuclear power plant another step towards building a smart Bangladesh, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina.
পরমাণু শক্তি আমরা শান্তি রক্ষায় ব্যবহার করব। বাংলাদেশ আগামীতে স্মার্ট বাংলাদেশ হিসেবে গড়ে উঠবে। এই পরমাণু বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্র সেই স্মার্ট বাংলাদেশ গড়ে তোলার আরেকটি পদক্ষেপ আমরা করতে পারছি।
President Putin says Rupur nuclear power plant is a symbol of strong bilateral relations. President Mohammad Shahabuddin asked teachers to give up coaching business for the sake of improving standard of education. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to hold news conference tomorrow on her joining 78th UN General Assembly session. Neither India nor the USA but the people of Bangladesh will bring Army League back to power, says Obaidul Qadir. Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir reiterated Bangladesh's friendly relations with all countries in the backdrop of BNP and its allies' frequent submission to foreigners, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Norwegian literature John Foss wins the year's Nobel in Literature for his innovative plays and prose which give voice to the unsayable. And New Zealand beat defending champion England by 9 wickets in the inaugural match of ICC ODI World Cup in Ahmedabad. Assalamu alaikum. Gulsatain Ahmed welcoming you all to News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. You have just heard the headlines, now moving on to the details of the news.
এই বাংলার মাটির থেকে দুর্নীতিবাজ, এই ঘুষখোর, এই মুনাফাখোরি, এই চুয়াচারকে নির্মূল করতে হবে। আমিও প্রতিজ্ঞা নিয়েছি, তোমরাও প্রতিজ্ঞা নাও, বাংলার জনগণও প্রতিজ্ঞা গ্রহণ করো।
Reiterating to build the country as smart Bangladesh, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said Rupur nuclear power plant RNPP is another step towards building smart Bangladesh. She said this while joining the RNPP graduation ceremony at the plant site in Ishordi, Pabna, virtually from Ganobhavan today. Russian President Vladimir Putin also joined the ceremony virtually from Kremlin. Sheikh Hasina said the design and construction of the plant is being carried out keeping in mind that the nuclear power plant is not damaged during any kind of disasters. In this connection, she also mentioned that the Russian Federation has promised to take back the spent fuel of the RNPP to their country. Bangladesh will use nuclear power to protect peace, said Prime Minister, expressing her firm commitment to the complete elimination of nuclear weapons worldwide and to the implementation of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons.
পরমাণু শক্তি আমরা শান্তি রক্ষায় ব্যবহার করব। আমরা বিশ্বব্যাপী পারমাণবিক অস্ত্রের সাধারণ ও সম্পূর্ণ নির্মূল এবং পারমাণবিক অস্ত্র নিষিদ্ধকরণ চুক্তি বাস্তবায়নের প্রতি দৃঢ় অঙ্গীকার ব্যক্ত করেছি। আমরা বাংলাদেশ পরমাণু শক্তি নিয়ন্ত্রণ আইন প্রণয়ন করেছি এবং একটি স্বাধীন পরমাণু শক্তি নিয়ন্ত্রণ কর্তৃপক্ষ প্রতিষ্ঠা করেছি। এই কর্তৃপক্ষ IAEA এর সাথে নিবিড় যোগাযোগ রক্ষা করে পারমাণবিক বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্রের প্রতিটি স্তরে নিরাপত্তা নিশ্চিত করছে। আজকে বাংলাদেশ অনেক দূর এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে, আমরা নিউক্লিয়ার যুগে প্রবেশ করছি। এই বিদ্যুৎটা হচ্ছে অত্যন্ত পরিবেশ বান্ধব, সেটাই হচ্ছে সবথেকে বড় কথা। এই বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্র পরিচালনার জন্য আমরা পৃথক আইন প্রণয়নের মাধ্যমে নিউক্লিয়ার পাওয়ার প্ল্যান্ট কোম্পানি বাংলাদেশ লিমিটেড নামে একটি কোম্পানিও আমরা গঠন করেছি। যে কোনো ধরনের দুর্যোগে আমাদের এই পারমাণবিক বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্র যাতে ক্ষতিগ্রস্ত না হয় সেদিকটা খেয়াল রেখে এই প্ল্যান্ট
প্রকল্প পূর্ণ মাত্রায় অপারেশন করার পরে এই কেন্দ্রটি বাংলাদেশের বিদ্যুৎ চাহিদার 10% মেটাবে। এই বাংলাদেশের দ্রুত বৃদ্ধিমূলক অর্থনীতির চাহিদা পূরণ করবে। আর অবশ্যই নতুন বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্র কার্বন নির্গমন করবে না, যা পরিবেশের জন্য খুব ভালো হবে।
Later, the certificate of fuel delivery was handed to the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on behalf of the Russian President Vladimir Putin, while the model of fuel assembly was handed over to Science and Technology Minister, Architect Yafish Usman, by Rosatom Director General al-aqsa Likashev. Held with Science and Technology Minister Architect Yafish Usman in the chair, the function was also addressed by Rosatom Director General al-aqsa Likashev, Director General of IAEA Rafael Mariano Grossi. Science and Technology Secretary Muhammad Ali Hussain delivered welcome address. President Mohammad Shahabuddin urged teachers not to engage in coaching business. The president made the call while addressing the World Teachers' Day celebration at Osmani Memorial Auditorium in the capital this morning. Noting teachers as the main architect of nation building, the president said that the respect and dignity of teachers is much higher than that in any other profession. He said due to social degradation and malpractice of few teachers, respect and dignity is being damaged day by day. Referring to the fraud of the coaching centers, President Mohammad Shahabuddin said that a section of teachers is directly or indirectly involved in the booming business of the coaching center. Highlighting the various steps taken by the present government for the development of education sector, President Mohammad Shahabuddin urged all concerned to work together to build a quality education system in the country.
শিক্ষকদের মাঝে কেউ কেউ কোচিং এর একটা রমরমা ব্যবসা করে যাচ্ছেন, যেটা ছাত্রদেরকে নৈতিকতার শিক্ষা থেকে কিছুটা দূরে সরিয়ে নিচ্ছে। এই কোচিং ব্যবসাকে পরিহার করতে হবে। শুধু জিপিএ 5 বা জিপিএ পাওয়ার জন্য অভিভাবকগণ তাড়াহুড়া করেন একটা ভালো কোচিং এ দেওয়ার জন্য। তারা মনে করেন যে এই কোচিং এর মাধ্যমে ছেলে মেয়েদেরকে গুণগত শিক্ষা বা ভালো শিক্ষা দিতে পারবো। এখান থেকে সরে আসতে হবে, এই মানসিকতা থেকে সরে আসতে হবে। আমরা চাই দেশের প্রতিটি শিক্ষার্থী সুশিক্ষিত ও সুনাগরিক হিসেবে গড়ে উঠুক এবং জাতীয় ও আন্তর্জাতিক পর্যায়ে দেশকে এগিয়ে নিতে অবদান রাখুক।
The function was also addressed by Education Minister Dr. Deepu Moni, State Minister for Primary and Mass Education Mohammad Zakir Hussain, Deputy Education Minister Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry, Secondary and Higher Education Division Secretary Soleiman Khan, Dhaka University Professor Dr. Lafifa Zaman and UNESCO representative Dr. Susan Viz. 7 teachers were awarded at the function. President Mohammad Shahabuddin handed over crests and certificates to the recipients. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will address a press conference tomorrow to brief the media about the outcome of her joining the 78th United Nations General Assembly UNGA session in New York. Press Secretary to the Prime Minister Ehsanul Karim said the press conference will be held at Ganabhavan at 4 p.m. tomorrow. During her stay in New York from 17 to 22nd September, the Prime Minister attended the UNGA session and other high-level side and bilateral events. President Mohammad Shahabuddin has summoned the 25th session of the 11th Jatiya Sangshad on October 22nd. The session will begin at 4 p.m. on October 22 at the Parliament Bhavan. The President has convened the session exercising the power bestowed upon him as per the Article 72(1) of the Constitution. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary has said the relations between Bangladesh and India have now reached a new height. She said this while addressing the inaugural session of Bangladesh-India Friendship Dialogue in Sylhet today. Bangladesh Foundation for Regional Studies, India Foundation, New Delhi and Foreign Ministry of Bangladesh jointly organized the 3-day Friendship Dialogue. Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen chaired the inaugural session, which was also addressed by Awami League President member Jahangir Kabir Nanak and former State Minister of India M.J. Akbar. Awami League Joint Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir said behind the scenes understanding means development in relationships. He said India or the USA will not bring the Awami League to power. Only people of the country can do it. Obaidul Qadir came up with the clarifications of a view exchange meeting with journalists at the Secretariat today.
তলে তলে আপোষ মানে দুটা দেশের সম্পর্ক উন্নয়ন বা আমাদের সম্পর্ক ভালো আছে, আমি সেটা বোঝাতে চাইছি। বাইডেনের সাথে অনানুষ্ঠানিক যে কথা হয়েছে এটা কি আপনি জানেন না তারা জানে? তারপরে আপনি নিরাপত্তা উপদেষ্টা ইজ এ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট ম্যান আমেরিকান গভর্নমেন্টের, তো তার সাথে যে কথাগুলো তো এক সপ্তাহ পরে এসে গেছে, তো সেখানে তো এই কথাগুলো হয়ে গেছে। জানাজানি হওয়ার আগে তো তলে তলে, এটা তো জানাজানি হলো পরে, তো তাহলে ভেতরে ভেতরে সম্পর্কটা আমাদের ঠিকই আছে। আমাদের নীতিটাই হলো সবার সঙ্গে বন্ধুত্ব, কারো সঙ্গে শত্রুতা। মির্জা ফখরুল সাহেবরা আগ বাড়িয়ে অনেক কথা বলেন, সেটার সাথে আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য এবং লক্ষ্য তার কোনো মিল নেই।
The Awami League General Secretary warned of befitting reply against any efforts to create unrest during the election.
আমাদের এখানে ফ্রি ফেয়ার ইলেকশন হবে, ইলেকশনে আমেরিকারও কোনো ইন্টারফেয়ারেন্স নেই এবং ইন্ডিয়ারও কোনো ইন্টারফেয়ারেন্স থাকবে না, কোনো দেশেরই থাকবে না। আমাদের ক্ষমতায় বসাবে আমাদের জনগণ। ইন্ডিয়া কিভাবে আমাদের জোর করে বসাবে? এটা কি কখনো হয়েছে? ইভেন আমেরিকাও কি জোর করে বসাবে? সম্পর্ক উন্নয়ন এটা গণতন্ত্রের জন্য ভালো। আমরা ইন্ডিয়ার সহযোগিতায় ক্ষমতায় থাকবো এরকম উদ্ভট চিন্তা, আজব চিন্তা আমাদের মাথায় আসেনি। এসব উদ্ভট কল্পনা ফখরুল সাহেবদের মাথায় আসে, কারণ তারা জোর করে এসব কিছু করতে চায়। আমরা প্রস্তুত আছি, অশান্তি করলে অশান্তির জবাব আছে। তারা নির্বাচনে বাধা দিতে প্রস্তুত, আমরা নির্বাচন শান্তিপূর্ণভাবে করতে প্রস্তুত।
Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmud said, following the frequent lobbying to foreigners by BNP and its allies, the Road, Transport and Bridges Minister Obaidul Qadir just reiterated the existing good relationships with all countries. He said this in response to queries from journalists after joining a seminar marking World Investors Week 2023 at Dhaka University today. Merchant Bankers Association organized it.
এবং তার মিত্ররা দেশের আভ্যন্তরীণ বিষয়ে বিদেশিদেরকে নাক গলানোর সুযোগ করে দিয়েছে এবং বিদেশিদের কাছে বারে বারে গিয়ে আমাদের দেশকে ছোট করেছে। সেই প্রেক্ষাপটে আমাদের সাধারণ সম্পাদক কিছু কথা বলেছেন। আমাদের দেশের সাথে কোনো দেশের সম্পর্ক নষ্ট হয় সেটির জন্য অনেক অপচেষ্টা করা হয়েছে, কিন্তু এতে কোনো লাভ হয়। ইউএনজিএতে অংশগ্রহণ করার জন্য মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্র সফরকালে মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী যখন ওয়াশিংটনে গেছেন, সেখানে মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের নিরাপত্তা উপদেষ্টার সাথে মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রীর বৈঠক হয়েছে। এটি প্রমাণ করে আমাদের সাথে মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের সম্পর্ক অত্যন্ত চমৎকার। আমরা সেই সম্পর্ককে আরও দৃঢ় করার জন্যই কাজ করে যাচ্ছি।
Earlier at this seminar, the Information and Broadcasting Minister said political stability is a must to ensure the ongoing economic growth.
স্থিতিশীলতা যদি না থাকতো তাহলে কি পদ্মা সেতু নিজের টাকায় করা সম্ভবপর হতো? রক্তচক্ষুকে উপেক্ষা করে, রক্তচক্ষুকে ভ্রুক্ষেপ না করে কখনো সম্ভবপর হতো না। রাজনৈতিক স্থিতিশীলতা যদি না থাকতো আজকে কি মাথাপিছু আয় $600 থেকে প্রায় $3000 কাছাকাছি নেওয়া সম্ভবপর হতো? হতো না। আজকে পাকিস্তানের দিকে তাকিয়ে দেখুন, সেখানে রাজনৈতিক স্থিতিশীলতা না থাকার কারণে পাকিস্তান কিছুদিন আগ পর্যন্ত ব্যাংকরাপ্ট হওয়ার পর্যায়ে পৌঁছে গিয়েছিল। রাজনৈতিক স্থিতিশীলতা না থাকার কারণে সেখানে কিভাবে জঙ্গিবাদ মাথাচাড়া দিয়ে উঠেছে, মানব উন্নয়ন সূচক, সামাজিক সূচক, অর্থনৈতিক সূচক,
প্রফেসর
এবং
শিবলি
স্বাস্থ্য সূচক, সমস্ত সূচকে আমরা পাকিস্তানকে অতিক্রম করেছি 2014-15 সালে। ইন অল ইন্ডেক্স এখানেই জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনার দেশ পরিচালনার সার্থকতা, জাতির পিতা বঙ্গবন্ধুর দেশ রচনার সার্থকতা আজকে পাকিস্তান আমাদের দিকে তাকিয়ে দীর্ঘশ্বাস ফেলে।
Bangladesh Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Professor Shibli Rubaitullah Islam, among others, also spoke. Agriculture Minister and Awami League President member Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razak said there is nothing to be worried about the visa restrictions and conspiracy of the United States. He made the remarks while exchanging views with the leaders and activists of the Faridpur Awami League at the District Circuit House today. Dr. Abdul Razak said the United States deployed its 7th Fleet to the Bay of Bengal during the Liberation War, but the people of Bangladesh were not afraid. Sheikh Hasina will once again be Prime Minister by facing all conspiracies and bans. He later joined a workshop titled Measures to Grow More Edible Oil and Paddy in Greater Faridpur and jazeera region at Faridpur Sadar Upazila Auditorium. Speaking on the occasion, the Agriculture Minister said the government is implementing a 3-year work plan to reduce import of the edible oil. He said Bangladesh can save 10,000 crore taka annually while reducing the import cost of edible oil. Agriculture Secretary Wahida Akhtar presided over the workshop while chiefs of the various departments and leaders of the District Awami League were present. Ekushe Padok winning poet, noted media personality and valiant freedom fighter poet Asad Chaudhry is no more. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. He died of old age complications while undergoing treatment at a hospital in Toronto, Canada today. He was 80. Asad Chaudhry had been suffering from blood cancer since November last. After his ailment, he was admitted to Michael Garron Hospital in Toronto in June last year. He had been living in Canada with his family members for the last few years. Asad Chaudhry was born at Ulania of Mehendiganj Upazila under Borishal district on February 11 in 1943. He was a poet, writer, translator, radio and television personality and journalist, as well as a cultural activist of Bangladesh. He won Ekushe Padok in 2013 and Bangla Academy Literary Award in 1987. Chaudhry completed his master's degree in Bengali in 1964 from the University of Dhaka. He started his profession as a lecturer in Bengali language and literature at Brahmanbaria College in 1973. President Mamal Shahabuddin and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina expressed deep shock and sorrow at the death of the poet Asad Chaudhry. And now moving on to international news. Norwegian author, playwright and poet John Foss has been named the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. Nobel Prize body, the Swedish Academy, said he blends the nature of his Norwegian background with artistic technique and is commended for exposing human anxiety and ambivalence at its core in his works. The organizer said Foss would be compared to the previous great writers like fellow Norwegian Tarjei Vesaas, as well as Samuel Beckett, Thomas Bernhard, George Trakl and Franz Kafka, as well as the prize. Foss receives 11 million Swedish kronor. Born in 1959, Foss's works spanned 40 plays plus novels, essays, poetry collections, children's books and translations. Last year, the Nobel Prize in Literature was won by French writer Annie Ernaux. Ukrainian officials say at least 51 people have been killed after a Russian missile hit a supermarket in the Kupiansk district of Kharkiv region. There has been no immediate comment by Russia, which has denied hitting civilian targets. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says on Telegram that more than 48 people have been killed in Russian attack on a grocery store in Kupiansk district of the northeastern region of Kharkiv. Report says it is one of the worst attacks that happened in recent memory, and it is certainly the biggest death toll in Ukraine in the last few months. President Joe Biden admitted Wednesday he was worried that political turmoil in Washington could threaten U.S. aid to Ukraine, urging Republicans to stop their infighting and back critically important assistance for Kyiv. Biden added that he would soon be giving a major speech on the need to support Ukraine's fight against the Russian invasion after the chaos in Washington alarmed U.S. allies. Meanwhile, U.S. officials say the U.S. will transfer thousands of seized Iranian weapons and rounds of ammunition to Ukraine in a move that could help to alleviate some of the critical shortages facing the Ukrainian military as it awaits more money and equipment from the U.S. and its allies. Reports say U.S. Central Command has already transferred over 1 million rounds of seized Iranian ammunition to the Ukrainian armed forces. Some 50 European leaders have arrived in Granada, Spain for a summit of the European Political Community EPC, a forum aiming to foster cooperation across the continent. Meetings on the margins will focus on crisis between Azerbaijan and Armenia and between Serbia and Kosovo, which have fled in recent weeks. Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan is attending, but Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev is not expected to take part. An advisor to Azerbaijan's president said Baku is willing to talk peace with Armenia under an EU-led process in Brussels. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Italian counterpart Giorgia Meloni are chairing a side meeting at the forum where they will push a plan for tough action on migration. The death toll has risen to at least 14 people after flooding in India's northeastern state of Sikkim that came after heavy rainfall caused by the glacial Lonak Lake to overflow. At least 26 people were also injured and 102 others, including 23 army personnel, were reported missing, officials said on Thursday. Sikkim received 40.9 millimeters of rainfall between Tuesday and Wednesday morning, according to the India Meteorological Department (IMD), almost 5 times its normal rate of 8.6 millimeter for this time of the year. And now some other international news in brief. New York Attorney General Letitia James hit back at Donald Trump on Wednesday over his virulent attacks on the $250 million civil fraud suit she brought against him, saying she will not be bullied.
So Mr. Trump is no longer here.
Japan began releasing a second batch of treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant today. Its operator said it follows the first discharge on August 24, when Japan began releasing some of the 1.34 million tons of wastewater built up since the tsunami struck the facility in 2011. South Korea's Defense Ministry said it was closely monitoring a North Korean nuclear reactor site after local media reported its operations had been temporarily suspended, potentially to extract weapons-grade plutonium. Typhoon Koinu grazed the southern edge of Taiwan, blanketing the region in torrential rain and bringing record-breaking winds of more than 340 kilometers an hour to an outlying island. Scientists have taken their first glimpse of a sample collected from the near-Earth asteroid Bennu and stumbled upon a good bit more than expected. The unexpected debris could reveal key insights about the asteroid before the primary sample is analyzed. No improvement was seen on the dengue situation prevailing across the country as over 2,000 have been infected and 9 died during last 24 hours. A press release of the Director General of Health Services said among the dead, 5 were in Dhaka and 4 outside Dhaka. 2,617 dengue patients were admitted to different hospitals across the country during the last 24 hours. Among them, 633 dengue patients were hospitalized in Dhaka city and 1,984 patients outside Dhaka. Meanwhile, no one died of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The country reported 8 COVID-19 positive cases at 768 tested in the last 24 hours. Corona infection rate was reported at 1.04%. And now, weather news. Under the influence of active monsoon, deep convection deep convection is continuing over North Bay. Met Office said squally weather may affect the maritime ports, North Bay and adjoining coastal areas of Bangladesh. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Paira have been advised to keep hoisted local cautionary signal number 3. I repeat, local cautionary signal number 3. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay have been advised to remain close to the coast and proceed with caution till further notice. Meanwhile, Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at most places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions, but at many places over Khulna, Borijala and Chattogram divisions. Besides, moderately heavy to very heavy falls likely to occur at places over the country. And now news from the world of sports. New Zealand beat defending champion India by 9 wickets in the inaugural match of the ICC ODI World Cup cricket in Ahmedabad today. Chasing the victory target of 283 runs, New Zealand reached their destination, losing only 1 wicket with 82 balls remaining. Devon Conway and Rachin Ravindra showed very dominating performance against England bowlers. Conway was unbeaten on 152 and Ravindra was unbeaten on 123 runs for the Kiwis. Earlier, New Zealand won the toss and invited England to bat first. England scored 282 runs for 9 wickets in the stipulated 50 overs. Joe Root scored 77 and captain Jos Buttler scored 43 runs for the English. Rachin Ravindra was adjudged man of the match. And now, to end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Russian President Vladimir Putin virtually joined program on handing over uranium for Rupur nuclear power plant. Rupur nuclear power plant, another step towards building a smart Bangladesh, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. President Putin says Rupur nuclear power plant is a symbol of strong bilateral relations. President Mohammad Shahabuddin asked teachers to give up coaching business for the sake of improving standard of education. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to hold news conference tomorrow on her joining 78th UN General Assembly session. Neither India nor the USA but the people of Bangladesh will bring al-Malik back to power, says Obaidul Qadir. Business Minister Obaidul Qadir reiterated Bangladesh's friendly relations with all countries in the backdrop of BNP and its allies' frequent submission to foreigners, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Norwegian literature John Foss wins the year's Nobel in literature for his innovative plays and prose which give voice to the unsayable.